Hey everybody, so we've got the template cab, we've got the front clip we're going to be switching to, all mounted up, or semi-mounted up on the F-350 frame. So we went ahead and picked this up on Marketplace. It's a 73 to 74 front clip. It's going to match my Blazer, which you saw in the last video. Picked up this template cab from the local junkyard, got a good deal on it, because somebody's coming here, unfortunately, and cut this whole area out right here. So this is just going to be a template for now. Might build it later, maybe cut the floor out and mount it on a newer truck, cab floor and everything. You see right here, we went with the F-350 2005-2007 frame. If you come right in here, you can see we have a coilover setup going on here. So that's going to give us a little bit more modern ride than the old school square body four-wheel drives would. And as you can see right here, just at the factory height, I think these are 30-inch tires. You know, you have roughly 15 inches, roughly 10 inches of clearance. So we should be able to fit 35s, no problem. Like I said, we're going to do that because we wanted to match the Blazer. If you come right in here, you can see this frame is a little bit wider than the Ford frame, than the Chevrolet frame. So it's about 5 inches wider. What we're going to end up doing, if you come right here, you can see we're going to take a 2x4 piece of just stock tubing, run it across, mount to the factory square body cab locations, and then we're going to end up moving these mounts right here up and then bolting it to those. If you want to see what the mounts look like, I got to get some new rubbers for them. But they look like this right here. The rubber's notched. This goes on the bottom. This goes on the top, locks in place so it can't rotate. Bolt comes up through here, so the bolt's gonna come up through this, go into the flat 2x4 tubing, and bolt to it. That way, you'll be able to use the mounts. You don't have to worry about narrowing a frame or any crazy stuff like that, or cutting up the old body. That way, you can take any crew cab frame that you want, crew cab body that you want, and mount it right up to it. Working our way back here, we've done some rough measurements on the wheelbase and looking at Ford specs versus the square body specs. This wheelbase is roughly about 8.5 inches too long in the middle between the tires. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this cab off now that we've mocked everything up. We'll pull all the gas, all the old fuel lines, all the brake lines, all the wiring. We've got a local guy that's going to cut it in the middle, take 8.5 inches out for us, and then he's going to build a C that goes inside the frame so it looks clean on the outside. You won't even know it's been shortened. He's going to box that up so you can still run all our lines through there and everything. Make it a lot stronger than it was before in that area. And then on top of that, it's just going to get the wheelbase right. If you come back here, taking some preliminary measurements off of the cab to the back of the frame, you can see right here we're 10 inches too long from 8 foot. So 8 foot's there, 10's over here. So what we're going to end up doing with that, once we shorten it, we'll probably have about 2 inches overhang, which will be fine because the cab and the bed obviously don't touch. So that'll leave room for cab gap, and we'll always have a cut wheel if we need to shorten it up a little bit. You can see when I got this frame, I also was able to get the existing fuel system. So we have the Ford 6.0 lift pump. We have the gas tank right here. It's a 35-gallon diesel tank. So it's going to be about 15 gallons bigger than the stock Chevrolet tanks were then. It's baffled. It's got the modern sending unit in it, all the pickups, everything like that. Plus, it's not the metal, so it's not going to be it's not going to rust. It's easy to get to. It's kind of up away from the cab and the frame and everything, so that'll be nice. Another good deal with running this frame is you have this area here where your factory spare tire goes. So if we ever decide to build that back out, we can put all that back in there, carry a spare tire under the bed, not in the bed, in the cab, anything like that. We're going to keep this nice area right here that Ford designated for the gooseneck hitches, because we're probably going to pull this, maybe hook up a car trailer that we've seen on the side of the road. Might try to snag that once we get this whole process done, but that'll let us use those to mount the gooseneck kit. Shine right in here. I've seen some other people on YouTube do this when they're doing some cab and chassis changes and stuff like that. We're going to take a piece of 2x4, stand it up, brace it, and weld it straight to the frame here. We'll cut this mount off and that mount off. Obviously, it's going to have to come up a little bit, but we'll use the stock square body mounting holes that are right in here. Like I said, that way we're not cutting up any bodies, any chassis. If we do have to change something later on or want to build a new truck, we can use this truck as a template to just knock it out a whole lot quicker than this particular one's going to take. Right up here, you can see, sits on here pretty well actually. Pretty pleased with that. If you come right in here, you'll see we had to cut the fender wells out for the coil buckets just a little bit. Probably have to do some more trimming on these. These are pretty rusted out, so I went ahead and just cut them. We'll get these all cleaned up a lot nicer when we go to the permanent cross members. You can see you got the forward cross member. What I'm hoping with this whole build is that we're going to be able to use some of the Ford Fummins stuff that everyone seems to have built and used to mount the Cummins in here. We're going to probably go with a Ford steering box. We're probably going to go with a Ford steering box, have to adapt it to the Chevrolet steering column, but that way everything will bolt right up. We've already got crossover steering on this axle and everything, so that's a super nice upgrade from the factory that the square body would have had back then. A couple videos I've seen where people have done this, where they just put a 12 valve in a 4-wheel drive square body. I'm hoping I'm just going to have to bend this pinch weld back right here to get it to clear. We're going to have plenty of clearance. You can see we got plenty of height. I'm like 6'3". It's at my elbows, so we'll be able to fit 35s like we're hoping without a problem. Won't be too tall or anything like that. You can see right here on the level, we just about have it level. The floor's not level, unfortunately, so we'll have to take a couple more measurements and everything before we permanently mount this. But like I said, we're about to take this all apart so that we can take all the fuel lines out, take it to the frame shop, get it shortened. My goal is we're going to try to build this in phases. So this is kind of like phase 1/2. We're going to strip everything, get the frame shortened, get all this sort of stuff mounted up and everything. We'll have to save up some more money, and then we'll get probably going to run with a ZF6 Ford transmission and transfer case, get the adapter plates and everything, and bolt it up to the 12 valve. That way we'll have plenty of durability, plenty of highway gear. I was doing some preliminary investigations and running some numbers with some 373 gears. About 75 miles an hour on the highway, which is kind of where I like to run. Be running like, I think it's 1700, 1800 RPM, so basically nothing on that motor at all. Have a good highway cruising speed and everything. So we got this almost level. If you come around this way, you can see basically have the cab dead level forwards and backwards, left and right. So we'll be good there. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up a new one of these cargo lights, try to mount a reverse camera underneath it. So if you're by yourself hooking up the gooseneck, it'll go right in there. You can see it. You won't have to get in and out 100 times like I do on our current F-350. As far as interior, it's kind of still up in the air. I'm thinking like a King Ranch interior or a High Country. Modern interior, we'll make some brackets for that sort of stuff. Do a newer touchscreen radio with Apple CarPlay so we can have capability for a camera up here. And we'll build one in the tailgate too, so you can hook up a regular trailer. Just try to make it as convenient as possible, but still keeping the classic look of the square body. Alright guys, so like we did last night, we were stripping the frame, we got the fuel tank out for the frame guy to cut it, got all the fuel lines out of here. It came apart really easily. Let me grab this thing and kind of show you what it looks like. Took it out. take all these fuel lines and brake lines and stuff out of this connectors right here and everything. There's 6 of these little mounts. They're like a little 13mm bolt that comes right out of the frame rail. Only thing I had to do, I wasn't planning on, was take the gas tank out, but it wasn't very hard. It has all these nice quick connect fuel line ends on it. So I'm hoping once we shorten it and everything, I'm going to take a measurement. We'll be able to get a crew cab short bed set of fuel lines and brake lines for forward. And I'm hoping the distance will be enough I can just throw them right back in here in these mounts like nothing ever happened. So we shipped those out. He came by today, measured everything. So he's going to start building the bracket. Hopefully next week we'll be able to take it over to the frame, take it over to him, let him do his magic on it, we'll get it back. And then we'll start mocking everything up. We're going to have to put the bed on, get the bed height right, and then work our way forwards to the front clip. We'll put all the brackets out and everything. We'll probably start doing some fuel lines and that sort of stuff after that, little small things. And then once we get a motor and transmission, we'll start building cross members for that, getting drive shaft lengths, that sort of stuff. Until then, we'll probably, once we get this set where we're going to have it at, we'll probably start doing some other things just to kind of be able to keep making videos and that sort of stuff.